Well, as you can see, the Mercury's in the trailer. This video doesn't end the way I'd hoped, but this is where we're at with the Mercury. I got it running, but I have no brakes, and it is dirty from sitting for 40 years with mice and old smell. So the plan is to try and get this thing cleaned up, wash all the windows, try and deodorize it a bit. I found out in this side I'm gonna have to take the inside panels off because back in there's another mouse nest. Just gross. So yeah, thought I'd show you what it looks like right now. We're gonna go through and get this thing cleaned up. There's a big car show that comes to Dubuque that's basically all these old cars called Torque Fest, Vintage Torque Fest. And I thought I was going to be out of town for it, but it seems like I'm going to actually be here. So my goal over the next 2 weeks roughly is to make this thing stop, get insurance on it, and be able to drive it to town. So I just pulled some of this cardboard, and this rubber stuff's just destroyed. There's no saving it, but massive nest right underneath it. So pretty sure every crack and crevice of this car is going to have a mouse nest in it. Yep, again, I pulled out the back seat cardboard, and yuck, here's 2 more nests. I'm gonna end up tearing the entire interior out of this car just to get rid of the mouse nests. Ew. This is one of the downsides of wanting to work on classic cars that have been sitting for as long as I've been alive. They are filled with mice. Yuck. So I'm getting the interior all cleaned out, and I unbolted the front seat, tipped it back, and not only did I find beer tabs, but I actually found a pretty vintage beer can. I don't know how old that is exactly, but it kind of shows you how long the car's actually been sitting for. I don't see a date. 1969. But that's the copyright. So that's probably not how old the can is. I'm thinking it's been from the 70s though, at least. I'll have to do some research on that. So I've gone ahead and I cleaned up the carpet as best I could with the vacuum just to get the majority of the dirt off of it. And look at how clean this floor is. I mean, it's solid metal everywhere. So this is the brake master cylinder, fits under here. And right in there, I'll get that cap off, and we're gonna see what we need to do to get the brakes to work on this car. Well, so I pulled the cap off, and this is what's sitting in the bottom of the reservoir. There's actually like chunks in there, which tells me enough that we're gonna replace the master and all the wheel cylinders. I'm not even gonna mess around. If there's that kind of crud in the master cylinder, and I'm almost positive when it was on the trailer, the right rear wheel cylinder was leaking. So rather than even screwing around, I've seen enough in that master cylinder to know I want to replace it. I'm going to get this up off the ground, get the wheels pulled off of it, and see what we need for wheel cylinders and brakes. All right, well, I got her up on jack stands and I pulled the front tires. Still got to take off the rear. I can see right here that the brake hose, I can actually get a chunk out of it. It's really soft. There must have been some kind of oil that got put in the brake fluid once upon a time. Besides wheel cylinders, we're definitely going to need hoses too. All right, so the front should come off really easy. The dust cap on these is actually a twist off. I broke it loose with a vice grip. But just unscrew your cap instead of hitting it on with a hammer. Like, I'll go ahead and get my cotter pin pulled out of the nut. And then we'll go through and wow, this grease is kind of like thin, like oil almost. It's kind of weird. You'd think it'd be like hard. It's almost oily. Tap the drum to get the bearing out. Here's my first wheel bearing. Hopefully the drum will just kind of fall off. There we go. Piece of cake. All right. Definitely seeing some grooving in this drum that I don't like, but so those grooves are probably from this brake shoe. You can see there's a little bit of the material there, but we're actually touching the rivets here and here. Back still has a little bit of meat on it. So they do make a special puller for this. I got this universal one on here and it's not really coming loose. I think it's supposed to grab back behind here rather than the studs. So I got a little tension on it. I've been kind of tapping on it and letting it sit. I may even put a little bit of heat in this knuckle. I'm having a bit of trouble with this drum not wanting to come off here. So I'm letting that sit with a little pressure on it before I put heat on. I want to know what's in this gas tank. You can obviously see some stains around the edges where it looks like it's probably going to leak, but there is a drain plug in the middle of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. Well, and of course the drain for the gas tank, which probably hasn't been out in forever, doesn't want to come out, which is why I love this tool. It's flameless heat, and I am not worried at all about heating the gas tank like this. And hopefully it'll come out, because without a flame I don't have to worry about an explosion, and the gas is so old I'm definitely not worried about it. But I've used this to heat fuel lines and all kinds of things, and it works amazing, so hopefully it'll work here. I can hear, oh wow, oh Jesus, I'm melting the solder. Wow, well that was almost a major mistake. That's soldered onto the tank, and I just got it so hot that it almost just melted the solder out. Apparently using heat on this particular gas tank is not a good idea. I think it worked. No, I think I just broke the bolt. No, it's moving. Awesome. So not only did I get the plug out of the gas tank, I learned that they solder the threads in with some lead there. And that could have been really bad. So, but just shows how hot that mini ductor can make metal. Because even though there's fuel in here cooling it off continually, well, I think there's fuel. I actually don't know what's in the tank, but I'm assuming it's filled with fuel or liquid, and it would have been trying to cool that metal off as fast as I was heating it, and it still managed to get the solder hot enough to drip. So let's see what we got here. Plug's still warm. It's actually kind of hot to my fingers on the socket extension here. It's a square bolt, but I put the socket on upside down. All right, well, we're gonna take it out, see what comes out of here. Oh my gosh, is there nothing in it? Or is it that much sludge in the bottom of the fuel tank? So I'm gonna slightly put this back in, and I'm gonna go get something to stick in there. Maybe the tank's empty, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds very full. All right, I grabbed a little punch to punch through there, and oh yeah, it's like thick. Isn't it? What's going on? Oh, okay, I just got through it, so if there's any liquid left, it should come out now. And wow, there's no liquid in this gas tank. Okay, Well, that is not what I expected to see at all, but okay, well, I think the fuel tank is bone dry, except for it's filled with rust. So I really don't think this tank's going to be usable. So now I'm really confused. The line was stuck, so I figured I'd just cut it and fix it later, rubber hose it. I didn't want to ruin this fitting. But somehow there's fuel in the actual fuel line, but everything in the tank, I think, evaporated into nothing. Well, I got it removed. One thing I noticed is the bottom of this sounds really solid, and the top is super thin and lightweight. So I don't know if it all rusted and filled the bottom or what. I'm gonna get a light and look inside there and see what's going on. I think I'm right. So I shined a light in there. I couldn't really see anything. So I started pushing my finger around through this top part, and look at what I found. The entire top of the tank is totally rusted out. For the person who in my first episode left a comment saying there's no way this car's been sitting that long, look at what's wrong with my gas tank. Let's see if I can see down in there. Like I said, it's heavy. Oh yeah, I don't know, probably doesn't pick up on the camera. I'll probably open this up like a sardine can and show you what's inside of this, but it's 100% rust. Well, that answers that question. Is the gas tank good? No, it is not. This is what's left inside the fuel tank. That is the fuel level sensor. To show you how long this thing's actually been sitting, the fuel completely evaporated. And disintegrated. And this is what's left of it inside this tank. That's crazy. Which explains why it was so heavy. And yeah, I definitely need a new gas tank. Well, so when I bought my 1918, I didn't really have any idea what I was going to do with it. It just was a really cool, complete, near complete, I guess it's missing some wood floor, 1918 Ford that I wanted to kind of make into a rat rod, but I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to trade it for a different Ford. My buddy instead wants to make it into, I'm not sure exactly what his idea is yet. He's talked to me a little bit about it, but he's got a good idea of what he wants to do with this. And he currently owns a 1940 Ford that I'm in the process of trying to get my 1940 Mercury put back together. And I'm gonna need some parts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trade him my 1918 for his 1940. And I'm gonna have two 1940s. One's a Ford and one's a Mercury. And my goal is in the next 2 to 3 weeks, putting this Mercury back on the road for the first time since 1970s and taking it to a car show. So because I need the parts to finish this one, and I'm pretty sure he's got them on his car, I've decided, and he really wants this. This is more his style of vehicle anyway. And yeah, so I'm gonna go trade it today, and we're gonna pick up a 1940 Ford and get some parts off of it so we can get my Mercury put back on the road. Well, so the 1918's up there, and I traded them for a 1940 Ford. Like I said, I need some parts off of this, kind of in a short time frame here, and I also want to strap that hood shut, I think, before I try driving it. But I got this one and all these extra parts, and I'm gonna get my Mercury running hopefully with the extra parts off of this car. Trading my 1918 Ford for another 1940 project. Also came with all these parts, which is more or less the real reason I wanted this. Well, and I want to turn it into probably a rat rod. The motor's locked up, but I am going to try and get it to run. It has the flathead in it. And it did come with tons of parts, so who knows, maybe I end up restoring this one back to original too. It came with pistons and rods. I think this stuff's all used, so I don't know that I'd be using any of it. Boxes of brakes, all kinds of different trim pieces, carburetors, oil pumps. Here's another box full of used pistons. Yeah. So what I really need off of this is the passenger side exhaust manifold and the Y pipe. I could have made the Y pipe, but the manifold on mine is cracked, and I only have a couple of weeks before I want to try and get my 1940 Mercury sitting over there on jack stands up and running. For right now, I'm most interested in what's underneath these drums, and I want to know the condition of the brake drums because I want to use the best ones for my 1940 Mercury. And so currently I basically am using this as a parts car for some brake components possibly, and I need the passenger side exhaust manifold and hopefully the Y pipe. The rest of the exhaust is pretty shot, but if I can get the Y pipe to there and throw a muffler in it, it'd be great. Got my manifold off and it looks perfect. I don't see any cracks, so hopefully I can get the Y pipe separated and get that out of there, because if I can reuse the Y pipe and the exhaust manifold, that's really the main pieces that I bought the car for. Well, I mean, I bought it because I wanted the car also, but these were the items that I was hoping to get off of it for this period of time. This is fighting me pretty hard, and I still don't have the manifold off this side. I got the bolt almost torched off. I'm gonna end up cutting the pipe, which doesn't matter because I'm replacing it. You can see how broken the manifold is here. There's a chunk that already fell off.
Sorry, I'll talk later.
All the bolts are already out. However, unfortunately, we have 1, 2, 3 out of the 6 bolts that hold the manifold on snapped off in the engine. So, and it looks like they broke off with studs sticking out, so maybe I'll get Avril to lock onto them with a vice grip or something. But yeah, the manifold's still stuck on there because the bolts rusted into the hole. Well, I got my manifold off. You can see where it was broke at. It was broke around the top on all these spots. And then the bottom where the bolt broke, you can see it, like rust must have got in there and just swelled it up. So good news, this one looks to be identical. So the flathead Ford and the flathead Mercury are the same, which I was pretty sure they were, but it wasn't positive because I know from what I read this is a slightly bigger engine, but it should have the exact same exhaust. So now I just got to get my broken off exhaust studs, which you probably can't even see them down in there. I got one on the front and both of them in the very rear. One of them broke off flush with the cylinder head and one of them sticking out. So I don't know quite how I'm going to get to those yet. All right, well, I hope my parts are all in here. My box just came with all my brake parts, but it's pretty ripped open. So I hope the hoses didn't fall out or anything. Let me open it up and see what's in there. All right, we should have 4 wheel cylinders, a master cylinder, and 3 brake hoses in this box. Here's my early Ford receipt. Well, looks like we got 4 wheel cylinders right there. All right, we got 1, 2, 3 brake hoses and brand new master cylinder. All right, awesome. All my parts are here. All right, so kind of an update of where I'm at. I have all of my parts. I got 3 new brake hoses, 4 wheel cylinders, and a new master cylinder. However, the brake lines are so plugged that even with them off and trying to put compressed air through the steel line with it completely disconnected, it won't come out. There was one right here. I must have threw it away already. I had to remake one line this line coming to the back is already new. I'm going to make all new steel lines because the steel line itself, I think what happened is somebody put some hydraulic fluid or oil in the brake fluid system because the entire system's just filled with like a sludgy dirt material. I'll cut some other parts open and some wheel cylinders open so you can see the sludge, but all of the steel lines are completely junk too, so I'm gonna have to replace all of them. Also have a new gas tank that we're gonna get put in there because this one obviously is completely trashed. And I'm really hoping that I have 2 more weeks before the car show that I want to take this car to. So I really hope I get it done because we do have a lot of rain coming. And as you can see, I'm working outside on it in the gravel, which is why I need a bigger garage. Different story. Getting pretty far. It was really windy the last couple days and cold, so I really didn't have any footage to hear, but I'll show you where I'm at. This was the hub puller I was trying to use to get the rear drums off. They make this one that actually locks instead of going off the lug nuts. This locks on this collar back here, and I couldn't get it off. It felt like it was going to bend the drum with that one, so I did buy this tool. I'll put it on and pull this one and probably show you how it works today later, because this is the last wheel I have to pull off. It needs the wheel cylinder and brake line. Otherwise I have all new rubber hoses, wheel cylinders, and the steel lines have been replaced to all the other wheels underneath the car as well. This side I've already put back together, has new brake shoes. Well, the best brake shoes I have for it between the 2 cars. The shoes on this one were actually pretty good. Obviously I got this drum put on. These were the shoes that were in mine and they were at the rivets. So luckily this car had just had the brakes done and had the drums were turned, so these drums are in great condition. And so I swapped the rear brake drums and the brake shoes onto my 1940 Mercury from my Ford, and we're gonna get this thing stopping hopefully today or tomorrow. I'll have the whole brake system done. The master cylinder's already mounted in there, and I have a little bit more of the interior I want to clean out. But if I can get this thing back on the wheels and able to stop and move, that'll be awesome. I have a brand new tank with a new sending unit. It's a little different design. The fuel actually comes out of the top of the tank. I think they set it up so you can use it as a fuel injected tank as well. I'll get it out of the box here. Haven't even looked at it yet. Yeah. So the new tank does have a larger opening here that I have to change compared to the original. And the sending unit, this had a single sending unit in the top. This one has one for the fuel level, and then this is where the fuel lines come out of the tank instead of coming off the side. All right, so when I was using this style puller, it attached to the lug nuts. It was kind of bending the drum a little bit, and I could feel it kind of bending on there. And even when I put a little bit of heat on this, I still couldn't get it to pop and feel comfortable I wasn't going to damage the drum. So I bought this tool instead, which is has a collar lock that goes around the actual drum, and then you just tighten these bolts up back and forth, and eventually it should pop. Watch it here. Boy, this one's really stuck. Well, I don't think that's been off of there. With the mileage that are on the car, I'm pretty sure that's been on there for a while. I think I'm going to tap on it because I can actually see a little bit of bend in this bar already, which kind of makes me concerned. Let me hit it with a hammer. All right, I'm going to tap on it here, and there it goes. She popped loose. All right, and with that, you can get a pry bar behind there. And now I'm sticking on the brake shoes, I think. Yep, the drum got tight on the shoes. So I'm gonna have to back the adjusters down. So these shoes have multiple adjustments in them. Looks like it might take a little bit of effort to get them set up right the first time here. But there's a stop adjuster towards the master cylinder at the top, and then at the bottom the pins rotate to adjust the bottom of the shoe, so that way you're hitting the drum correctly. I can get these to back off a bit. Should make our drum come off. Turns out I have an actual axle seal that is leaking and not the wheel cylinder. So that's okay, because the drums that are on this car, I think the seals look new, and so I'm just going to swap these drums over and hope that these ones hold oil. They seem to be, I don't know, they're kind of like a rope seal, so I don't see a large amount of oil in here. However, I think they were just redone. I don't know, I'm going to take a chance on it. Like I said, the first test drive here is to go about 10 miles into town, and I just want to make sure everything works. If I have to pull the drums back off to get new seals and bearings or something, I will. But for right now, we're just gonna get these brakes fixed up. Well, the wind we've had for the last few days is completely back here, because everything's blowing all over the place, which makes it awesome to be working outside the gravel. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna get the rest of those brakes switched over. I'm probably not going to show much more of this with the wind. The front brakes, I still have to figure out what shoes are the best ones to use. I'm pretty sure the other car are going to be my front brake shoes. And then a matter of bleeding out the brakes, getting that gas tank mounted, and yeah, week and a half, this thing's going to a car show. I really hope so anyway. Well, I made it. It's 7:30 at night. Well, not quite. The gas tank's still not in. But the brakes are 100% put together, bled, and I have a great brake pedal. These drums are going to go back on this 40, just because obviously I need to put wheels back on that to get it off the trailer. But I use the best drums, the best shoes, basically the best parts between the two cars. And like I said, this one had recent brake jobs, so I was able to reuse the shoes and the drums off of it. And then all new hydraulic parts. But yeah, my brake pedal's right there, and it's solid. Obviously, the gas tank is my next step. Getting this mounted and figuring out what I have to do for the filler neck. But I have the sending unit mounted. The new fuel outlet housing is mounted. And we're just a couple steps away. I'm really excited about this. This car is so close. Carburetor, still have to rebuild that. That's inside the garage. I can do that. That will only take a couple of minutes. I have the carb kit for it and everything. So, oh, exhaust manifold. That's the other thing I have to do tomorrow before the weather gets crappy on me. But yeah, it was super windy all day today, and laying on my back, this is not a fun job in the gravel. I am definitely in need of a garage, and that'll happen soon. So we'll get her finished up tomorrow. All right, well, it's taken some effort, but I think I'm just about there. I had to go through and replace a ton of stuff. Working outside, I didn't really record much of it because I was laying in the gravel and it was super windy and cold the last few days, and I've been working on it. But today is the day when I can say it's going to actually start and run, and it should have brakes and everything should work. Well, till I find out what doesn't. So starting up here, what I've done is I pulled the distributor back off, replaced the gasket that was pretty crappy that was back there from before, completely rebuilt the carburetor, the fuel line that fell apart. I had to re-tap the fuel pump for 3/8 thread, and I got that fixed. Brake system, the entire thing, every component in the brakes had to be replaced. The lines, I can show you the pile of parts here. Look at the stuff dripping out of the lines. It's like tar. They were plugged so solid, I couldn't use compressed air and push through the lines. So even though the steel lines didn't look rusty hardly at all, well, this one kind of did here, they were all completely plugged solid, so I had to replace them. It's got all new wheel cylinders. The rubber hoses were terrible shape. This is the filler neck that I still have to fix. While we're here, this was the exhaust pipe that was all just completely trashed, and even this pipe had a small hole in it too. So I replaced both of those 2 sections of pipe from my parts car. Right now I am pumping gasoline into the new tank. Like I said, I don't have the filler neck figured out yet. I have to change the size, and you can see how much crap is like built up in this filler neck in here. It's just gross. I still have to clean all that out. Oh, I don't want to break my ring. Well, we're gonna probably have to get a new rubber piece. I actually have one. I was hoping not to put it on yet because I don't know exactly what the plan is to do with this car, but anyway. Vacuumed out as much of it as I've gotten taken apart so far. I still have to pull the inside door panels off and get that stuff cleaned up, and I still don't have the seat bolted back in from taking the carpet out to get to the master cylinder. But we have a good brake pedal. It's solid, like right there. I hope the clutch works. It felt like it did because I kind of used the clutch as a brake when I was moving it the first time, because it didn't have any brakes. So I really hope that as soon as this gas is finished transferring into the tank, I can turn the key and here's this thing run again. Hopefully all is well and it starts right up. Oh, it's gonna run. It's gonna run. Let me see what I can do. It's the choke. I gotta mess with the choke, and I should really fix that throttle return, but I think it's the choke. We're gonna get it to go. My gas gauge says a half a tank, which I don't know how big the tank is, but I could have filled it about a half a tank full. So it looks like my gauge is working. All right, we're gonna put it up a little bit here. And let's restart this again, hopefully. work at all. Apparently changing the timing made it not start again. Alright, let's try that again, see what we got. Sounds so good at idle, just doesn't rev. But it runs. Managed to get the fire up again. It's taking some effort. I think I got running. It's got 20 pounds of oil pressure. Generator's in the yellow, which I think means it's charging, but it's so low of an idle it's not. Because I think if I give it gas, that goes up a little bit, right? Not necessarily. We might have some generator issues. Oh, you know what? Is my charger still on? That might be why. Yeah, look at. So if I unhook that, does that make the generator work properly? It's in the yellow. No, I did see it work once though. It went up to the charging. Well, it's definitely misfiring. I'm assuming it's all timing. It could be valve related. It's been sitting for a long time. So we'll have to make some adjustments, see how good I can get this thing to run. Well, the sun is just about setting on another day of working on the 1940. Well, fuel pump's leaking pretty bad. You can see the gas running off the pump. I'm probably gonna have to put a fuel pump in it, and I think I'm gonna have to take that distributor back apart and relook at those points, because I have the timing all the way one direction to get it to run, which it does. It starts right up. Can't complain about that. Well, you can see your fuel running out of back here, but my issue is when I rev it, there it sounded pretty good, a couple little backfires, but I think the points aren't quite working right, because sometimes it won't rev and it wants to misfire and backfire. Well, it drove to there. We are 2 days away from Vintage Torque Fest here in Dubuque, Iowa, which is a big car show that's more of the older vintage cars like this one. A lot of rat rods and stuff. We'll definitely be doing a video on it. But my goal is to get this car there, and I have 2 days to do it. I finally got the rest of the interior pulled out of it so I can get rid of what I hope is my final mouse nest. Although I did find that I'm going to be blowing some stuff out of here because there's possibly a nest up in here. I don't know. I'm not pulling the headliner out. That's gross, but I'm going to see how clean I can get it without taking the liner. I just don't have time to deal with that. So, awesome shape. Look at how clean the floor is. The only spot that there's a little bit of rust is where I found nests. So I'm sure down in here where the piss from the mice were, there's probably some rust down in that little panel starting. But other than that, this thing is in awesome condition. I've never seen one this clean for sitting around for this long. So it's all the way through. There's no holes anywhere. The entire floor is solid. We're gonna see what we can do. Well, look at that. It's been outside in the rain now, not when it was new, or since it's been sitting, whatever. But it's so solid that it's actually holding water, which is not good. The weather stripping here is responsible for that. Well, okay, technically that's my fault because I don't have a garage or any more room left in my trailers, because this one's got a car in it. The shed over here's got a car in it. This goes in one side of my garage. There's a trailer over there that's got a car in it, and I rented a storage unit. So I probably have too many vehicles. That's more than likely the case here. So with that, I currently now have a place to put this, which is in the garage, because I moved the vehicle that was in this side of the garage out, so it won't sit in the rain again unless I get rained on this weekend. But the floor is obviously solid enough to hold water. Gonna get the shop vac and vacuum that out. I really hope I don't have any problems driving it. This should be the final piece I need to make it run. I bought a new fuel pump from Parts Geek, so we're gonna open this up. Hopefully it's right. Hopefully it's fixes my problem. Well, the interior is going to be as clean as I can possibly get it without obviously replacing door panels and headliner. but I've pulled everything completely out. I've had the carpet in the sun all day. I still have to clean the seats, but I'm going to start putting the door panels, or the inside panels in the rear here, back on. Got the trunk all cleaned out, so there's no holes in it. It still holds water, which isn't a good thing when it parks outside, but that's okay. It's not going to do that much more. So hopefully we don't get rained on this weekend at this car show, and we actually make it there. So I still have to put the fuel pump in it, but I just thought I'd show you what the inside looks like with it completely torn apart. All right, well, I pulled it in the shop from outside. I got the interior pretty much put together. This is obviously the door panels are still pretty raggedy, and the back seats not terrible. Front seat's got a big rip in it, so this sheet's gonna fix that for me. The only thing really I want to do left on the interior is clean the front windshield, the side windows up here, probably wipe the dash off, maybe see if I can clean any of these a little bit more. The main portion of the car though that I have left is the new fuel pump, because this one's leaking gas, and I might have to take apart that distributor again. There's also some exhaust that I'm going to look at and see if I can do anything to make it just a little bit longer, because it cuts off about right here right now, and there's no more exhaust. And yeah, we're getting really close. It's Thursday night. No, it's not Thursday night, thank God. It's Wednesday night. Tomorrow's Thursday. It's supposed to rain most of the day, so I really won't have a chance to test drive this, but hopefully I can get everything I need done. And come Friday, the first time since the 70s, this car's going to a car show. Obviously it's not completed. I did the bare minimum to make it drivable, which ended up being an awful lot, but I really hope we don't have any problems. We get to drive it this weekend for the first time, and yeah, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a really cool car. All right, so the car show's tomorrow. I got the car up in the air here, well, halfway, as high as I can get it in this garage. Kind of go through and show you what I've done. So as you can see, brand new gas tank. The exhaust, I had some pipes laying around, and I had an old glass pack, so I went through and I put a glass pack in there. The front half of the exhaust, I had to take the entire Y pipe and exhaust manifold off of my 40 parts car. All 4 wheel cylinders, all the brake hoses, I went through, I greased the chassis. I've changed the oil twice. Here's what we got for I mean, how cool is that? Hasn't rained since I've been alive. And it sounds amazing. I still think I have some timing issues. But I went with a glass pack. So that's my exhaust. I'll give it a little bit of a rev. Still getting some backfiring and popping, and the only way I can get it to run is to have my timing pushed all the way one way, so the distributor's still a little wonky, but it runs. So water pump on this side is leaking a little bit. I'm gonna hope it makes it. We don't have a very far drive, and on the way there it's downhill. If I end up having to tow it home, I end up having to tow it home. But I am gonna try and drive it with these tires that are from the 70s. So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm pretty impressed at how good it sounds just sitting here idling. There is a car cruise tomorrow that a bunch of the old cars are going on a car cruise through the city. I don't want to take this one because, well, the tires mostly, and it's never been driven. This will be the honest test drive. Is, well, technically the one thing I have left to do on the interior. I still don't even have a gas pedal. I just have the little stub sticking up, and I have the pedal, I just have to put it back in. So with that, tomorrow is going to be car show day, and it's actually tomorrow and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, and I think I'm going to be able to drive this car there and hopefully drive it home. It sounds so good with low RPM. We got almost 50 pounds of oil pressure. Sounds good. Well, today's the day for the test drive. We got the 1940. It's put together as best I can. We have Vintage Torque Fest we're going to today. Just pulled it out of the garage. We're gonna actually take this into town and drop it off a little early, because I also want to take my Firebird, because they have some spectator drags on the dirt track that I may want to run my car on. We'll have to see. But she looks pretty good. Obviously got some scratches and stuff, but it is in amazing condition for its age. So got the interior as cleaned up as I can. Obviously it's still ripped up and stained because it's a 1940 and it hasn't ever been touched, but I got it to where it fires right up and runs pretty good. I know my distributor's not 100% perfect. I think it's gonna run. We'll find out when we get down the road, but so far I haven't left the driveway with it, but it is insured and I got plates for it. I'm gonna leave the 1977 ones on there just because I'm going to the car show today and I have the right ones in the car with me if I have to change them. But I have brake lights. I have, actually the only light that I know doesn't work is the low beam on the passenger side. So, but I think we'll probably be bringing it home during the daylight tomorrow, depending on the weather. So yeah, we'll see how she runs down the road. All right, well, we're gonna go take and drop it off in town because we have to go register some other cars. Let's see if we make it for its first drive here. Should work, because listen to how good this thing starts. Yeah, there's a backfire, but just sounds amazing. So hopefully, I'm obviously not gonna be able to carry the camera with the 3 on the tree and trying to drive, but I'll get it going and we'll see how it drives down the road, and hopefully we make it there. Well, I'm going down the street, but it feels like the tires are squares. There's like legit flat spots in these tires and it's bouncing pretty hard. We're only going on the back roads, so I don't know. I'm gonna go a little further and see how it drives, but it feels like the tires got flat spots in them. All right, driving with bad tires is not a good idea. Probably think we're gonna end up towing this back home because I don't know that these tires are safe to be driving on the road. Like, look at my steering wheel and my whole fender's shaking. But we're cruising 40 miles an hour. Yeah. It's still got good oil pressure. It's charging. Temperature's right in the normal range. So, but yeah, these tires are absolutely scary right now. Well, the mostly downhill ride, it won't crank. I don't know. It seems like I lost electrical signal, the fuel gauge went over full, and it's like I got no crank or nothing. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, there's absolutely nothing when I turn the main power switch on. So I think all that bumping around broke a wire. Well, so I think I found my problem. Obviously the tires are shaking super bad. I probably should have tightened up the battery terminal a little bit more. Oh God, I hope that's all that's wrong with it. I never strapped the battery in, and apparently the battery post popped off, but oh, I lost the bolt. I don't even have a bolt. Okay, well, if that's the failure, I will be super excited. Yeah, the bolt fell off the battery from vibrating because the wheels are shaking so bad. So hopefully it starts. If it does, I'm gonna
over the hill.
Yep, we gotta go like a mile. So let me see what happens here. Do we have power? Oh yeah. Well, not exactly how my fun car show weekend was supposed to go. Yeah, I totally spaced out the battery. Honestly, within the first 3 minutes of driving, I definitely should have turned around and went back home. These tires just aren't safe. So I will have to go home before we come back and grab my trailer, and we'll have to pick it back up with the trailer because it's not safe to drive with these tires. I think it's gonna start and run again. I'm pretty sure I just flooded it out because when I was coming down this big hill, I tried giving it gas a couple times and there was nothing there, and I seen the gas gauge go over full, and I'm like, oh great, my gas gauge broke. It wasn't that at all. I'm pretty sure it was the battery came unhooked.
Oh, here.
So definitely not the plan we had here with the tow strap, but when there's nobody coming up that way, you just got to get a steady, smooth pull. Like, you don't have to go fast, just stay smooth. I'll ride the brakes so the chain stays tight and we don't yank it. I mean, it probably gonna.
Where am I pulling in at the fairgrounds?
First place to get into there. I don't know, maybe
Like down in the dirt or in the fairgrounds?
in the fairgrounds field, like in the parking lot. Yeah, in the outside parking lot, because it's not open till noon. So here we go. Just a little wandery all over the road still, even being drugged by the Kia. Whew. Wow, yeah, you can just feel the wheels shaking. Feeling that, I should have definitely taken it back home and said, yeah, we should trailer this to the show. But, oh well, live and learn. The trailer currently has a car parked in it that I needed this to get out of the garage in order to be able to take it. So she's braking here. So, well, we made it to the car show, but it still wouldn't even start trying to pop start it down the hill here. So, oh, she switched sides. Apparently I'm driving this one now. But we're gonna get the Firebird in the trailer, and I don't know, hopefully I can get it started when I come back. Well, so to get the trailer, I'm gonna have to get this out, which this thing's filthy too. Never did get the top completely finished, so we're gonna have to put this in the garage where the 40 was, and we're gonna put the 40 in here for right now. I'm hoping it starts and drives in here. No matter what, I'm still going to trailer it home because those tires are just not safe. So I'm definitely going to have to get new tires on it and take care of all that. But that's all right. We're going to have fun with the Firebird today, even if the 40 won't start up and actually get into the show. I'm going to take my Firebird there too. It's more of an older car kind of show, pre-1965, which is why I've never actually gone. So it's kind of crappy if my 1940 doesn't actually start and run and drive in. But I gotta get the battery stolen out of this car because I stole it out of the Sunbird in order to get this Trans Am to run. So I'm gonna get that taken care of, get all this stuff moved around so I'm not doing it in the dark tonight. Well, we made it back to the parking lot, which is now pretty full of spectators. We're hoping my car, yeah, I can still see it. There it is, sitting down here.
Just magically starts.
Which I'm hoping as soon as we throw the battery in, that's exactly what's gonna happen. So we'll see, but how surrounded by cars is it? Oh, not too bad. Oh, cool, I can park right in front of it. So I'm gonna do that.
Oh, is it on the other side?
It's not that funny, but it turns out that yeah, so we got the battery installed, and I have keys to this car that I'm driving, but the car that I was gonna start, the keys are actually not here. So we're gonna be here even later than I wanted. Anyway,
Where were they?
and with a quick pit stop at home, the keys that I didn't have, I have now. Well, this was not the ending I was going for my first car cruise on the 1940 here, or car show. Went back last night and picked it up. Still won't start. Pretty sure it's coil or points. When the battery came disconnected with the generator in there, I think it probably created a lot of excess voltage that probably took out the coil. I could be completely guessing. Well, I'm completely guessing there. I don't know what happened, but I do know I don't have spark, and I had used the winch to pull it in last night. So it will run and drive for a very short period of time due to bad tires shaking the whole front end and me forgetting to hook up the battery. So kind of a stupid mistake, but when you're doing things like this and you have things taken apart for long periods of time and you just overlooked it, because I've had the battery pulled out a couple different times charging it with whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. The distributor is definitely where I'm going to start with my problem, and we're going to put better tires on it, and we'll take it to a car show soon.